of this video is Men Are Better Artists Than Women by the War on Beauty channel. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's watch it.
This is Julia James Davis, and welcome to
Julia James Davis?
Welcome to the War on Beauty. So you can probably tell what this video is about if you read the title and you clicked on it. So let's just jump right into what is probably going to be a very controversial video.
Which is
men are better artists than women, and that men disowning their creative nature has contributed to an erasure of beauty in
Give me 1 second to look at the comments. I must check the comments of this video. Might be impregnated. Might be, I'm not sure, because probably people watched the entire video and maybe I don't know what's coming, but I just have to take a look at this comment section, okay? Men are easily moved by beauty. It's a shame we made them feel bad about that. Wow, as a man that paints, no, I want to see women's opinion about this. Oh, actually, a lot of people are on her side. I was expecting to see a lot of crazy, insane feminists typing a lot of, horrible mean stuff to her here, but it's not what I'm seeing. Probably, I don't know, probably all of those comments are held or probably banished from her channel. I don't know. I might be wrong as well, because let me sort by newest first. Amazing video. No matter how great, men's creativity is really a full shadow of women's ability to pull new people out of a box. What? Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Men and women just have different beauty standards. You don't balance the wrongs of feminism by swinging the other way around really hard. You're spot on. As a spiritually inclined man, I have to add that there are many factors of masculinity that are disowned in your society by men and women. The most significant one for me is a fact that men's creativity act has pure love power, is infinite and endless. The ability to pour our love onto things, ideas, and people is it's like breathing to us. When we are not allowed to do that, we simply die inside and then die physically. The act of love as a spiritual creative act of pouring your life force into a woman acts like pouring water into a flower. A woman wants to be the only one woman in the world to her man, and gets mad when he shows even a slight of love to other women. But our masculine heart is infinite. It doesn't act like a connection that is agreed upon. It shows love to anyone who inspires us without any restraint. And that means that our heart is connected to many beautiful women naturally. When we try to suppress the love for other women, we suppress our creative nature altogether. What do you guys think about it? I find this kind of biased. It looks like someone here is trying to build up a harem or something like that, I'm joking, just having fun with it. We feel guilty of our love, we feel guilt of the infinity of it. We love women and we don't want them to suffer. Women blackmail us and call us names, and they use our love for their own benefit. And it even starts with our own mothers, who want us for themselves. Then the girlfriends, wives, then daughters. That's our dilemma. Quite big. I'm not sure if I remember the beginning after reaching the end. You know how my brain is. So let's stick to the video. I probably will cut some part of it. It's too big.
In our world. My answer to the famous question posed by Linda Nochlin in her 1971 essay, why are there no great women artists is because men are superior to women in art, poetry, prose.
Congrats, I bet it wasn't easy to say that on the video. Even more like when you talk about art, which it's practically fully dominated by lefties.
Painting, sculpture, architecture, and even interior and fashion design and film. And let me just preface this video with saying that I studied art history my whole life, and I got a degree in art history from a top university and was bought into this prevailing notion that women were systematically kept out of the arts because of elitist white men who ran the art system, which is why there were few women artists of note. But over time, I've come to believe that this is not the reason that there's not great women artists. It's just that simply men are naturally better at the creative act. And actually that the creative act in itself is essentially male. But also that women serve an incredible
So that's why I'm not that creative, I guess. I guess that is
really important function in the art made by men. And this natural synergy between men and women in the arts, with men as the doer and the woman as the muse, is exactly what generated incredible beauty in our world. But in our contemporary society, having this opinion is seen as just flat out wrong, and it's something still kind of ingrained in me that even saying this out loud feels weird, but I'm saying it anyway. And I think that's because we are taught, not even just in art history, but just everywhere, we're taught that men and women can do the exact same things, and that we're endowed with basically the same abilities, capabilities, and talents. And I think that that's easier. It's easier to go against that idea of the equality of the sexes when you're specifically talking about physical capabilities. But it's a lot less easy and a lot trickier when talking about intellectual or creative differences. So how I got onto this topic in the first place? Well, as usual, I was scrolling social media on TikTok and on X, and I kept seeing this recurring thing about girlfriends making fun of their boyfriends' apartments or what they picked out at Home Goods. And then I saw tweets and comments back to those videos by men, I'm assuming, saying, "Oh my gosh, don't get a girlfriend. They'll literally make you gay and feminize you and take you to Home Goods and make you get a bed frame." And this discourse is actually very revealing because both of these points of view are wrong. The first opinion, which is usually the opinion held by women, is that men are aesthetically challenged and women are the arbiters of taste. The second opinion, it's usually the idea held by men, is that men being interested.
I think I cannot argue about that because I didn't talk with friends or anything that are living with boyfriends or etc. that had this kind of conflict or this kind of problems. And as well as I never had the experience of living with a partner or something like that.
In interior design and aesthetics is gay or feminine, which is equally incorrect. And another side misconception associated with both of these thoughts is that a man even being into those things is a man being in touch with his quote-unquote feminine side. Design and arts and creative expression in every sense and every field has come to be associated or seen as the domain of women. But on the whole, the greatest artists and designers and creatives throughout history have always been men. Think about, for example, and this is kind of an interesting example, I think, but Thomas Jefferson. He actually was a great aesthete and designer. He spent his life building and designing Monticello. Monticello, by the way, was his house. From the exterior to every last detail on the interior. And this home is now one of the most famous homes in the whole world. Or even think about Sir John Soane in England. He was a neoclassical architect whose home is an incredible example of a deep and
do you guys know the pyramid of Maslow, right? Like, I really cannot tell apart this stuff, and I think the reason is because I'm very, very on the beginning of this pyramid, you know? So I just cannot conceive, like, I just don't care, I don't care that much about the idea of a house, about it's like this or it's like that. For me, the most important thing, like, it's having a house itself, because I mean, I don't even own one, and the way things go here, neither my parents will, because the government is owning everything. People are just not realizing that their cars are not theirs, their house, it's not theirs. Nothing here is theirs anymore. Like, yeah. And for that reason, I cannot just I cannot. It's not like I cannot. It just my brain cannot like figure it out. This stuff cannot think about stuff because I'm worried with a lot of other stuffs that come before this. This is the pyramid of Maslow, you know. So yeah, the degrees that of how things should be. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because of that. I'm not saying that this is the reason, but I was seeing all of this and she showing these pictures, and I see, oh, it's cool and all, but I mean, it doesn't matter if it's pretty or not to me. If it's, you know, it just matter like, oh, it's better have a house than having any. But I bet if I had a house, then maybe I would start to worry about the things on the house or how the house looks, you know? I don't know, I'm just like, yeah, I think you guys got it.
Aesthetic sense and pure love for beauty. As feminism and the general topsy-turvying and blurring of gender roles has occurred over the past century especially, the great innate aesthetic strength of men has been disowned, which has actually contributed to the uglification of the world. And as I said, broken that great symbiosis of beauty that existed between men and women in the past.
Her haircut makes her arms like feel larger. You know, this area looks larger than it should be. Like, I don't know why people like this haircut. I really don't like it.
Back when the genders embodied their natural roles in the creative act. So that's a lot of exposition to kind of get to me actually making my case for this claim. I would say that the first strongest point in support of the fact that men are better artists than women is that men are historically so good at art. Shakespeare, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Dante, Bernini, Vermeer, Caravaggio, Mozart, Bach, Tolstoy, and even contemporary examples like Stanley Kubrick, David Bowie, Bob Dylan, and I could really go on and on forever just listing the great male artists. But now try to name a great woman artist, and you really have to cherry pick over a large course of history to find those names, and the names are a lot less renowned. There's Elizabeth Vigée-Lebrun, there's Angelica Kauffman, Artemisia Gentileschi, Berthe Morisot, and Georgia O'Keeffe. But these women's work just does not compare to the output and sheer beauty of the work made by men. And neither does this mean that women are intellectually inferior. It means that women have a different role. Women are just different than men, not just physically, but in other ways as well. And that's okay. That's completely fine. Men are the superior creatives because creation in itself is a male act. This, of course, is seen all through nature, with the most profound example being God the Father and the creator of the universe and everything in it. When we look at creation, there's really no denying that God is the greatest artist, and God is male. And then after that, men are the ones who create children in an active way while women receive and foster that child in their womb. And this dynamic is directly mirrored in art from basically the beginning of art history through to the 19th century. Men actively made beautiful art, and women were largely the inspiration and subject matter of that beautiful art. From Helen of Troy to Beatrice and Emma Hart. And walk into any museum even today, a lot of what's up on the walls are women. In fact, think of the Virgin Mary, who is the most depicted woman in art, and next to her son Jesus Christ is probably the most depicted person, period. But this is women's natural role. It's as the muse, as the depicted, and as the receiver. And it takes both men and women in their respective roles for this generative dynamic to work. As Kenneth Clark points out in his great episode of his Civilization series, he says, "It's a curious fact that the male religions have produced very little religious imagery. In most cases, have positively forbidden it. That great religious art of the world in every country is deeply involved with the female principle. And that is because the female principle inspires love, which is a great, if not the greatest driver of beauty. Whether that be a romantic love or a motherly love or spiritual love." Edmund Burke even says in his wonderful book, The Philosophical Inquiry into the Sublime and Beautiful, that beauty inspires love. But it's a specifically non-possessive yet soft and submissive love. So actually museums and art history are filled with women. But on canvas, in stone, in poems, in prose, and even in architecture. Think about the great cathedrals of the world, as Kenneth Clark says in that episode. They were built to be the Virgin's home on earth, and their layouts were actually literally modeled on her body, which I just think that is so incredible. How is that not amazing? And such a beautiful way to honor and even venerate women. And I think it's fair to say that the female principle, as Kenneth Clark calls it, in a lot of cases is the actual beauty of the work. But in the 20th century, the feminist art historians like Linda Nochlin came and said that this wasn't right and that this was actually even objectification. The basic idea put forth was that there were no great women artists because the system of art purposely excluded them. Women couldn't easily join academies like the Royal Academy. They were limited in access to nude models or apprenticeship opportunities, and they basically just weren't fostered from a young age like their male counterparts. And Nochlin goes on to attempt to downplay the idea of artistic genius. That genius at all is basically a myth, and that it almost accounts for nothing in an artist. That nature is entirely subordinate to nurture. She says, "It seems probable that the answer as to why there have been no great women artists lies not in the nature of individual genius or the lack of it, but in the nature of given social institutions and what they forbid or encourage in various classes or groups of individuals." And she also says that this is maybe the reason there are more great women writers, because there were less institutional barriers to a woman writing. As Virginia Woolf said, all a woman needed to write was basically a room of her own and some money. But I'm not really convinced on Nochlin's point about women writers, because there's still dramatically fewer women writers. There's no female equivalent to Shakespeare. And also to the previous point, there's been a lot of examples of great male artists who were outside of the traditional academic institutions and who also didn't paint nudes. They didn't paint history paintings. They painted other things. Think about Vermeer. He didn't paint nudes, and yes, he was in a guild, but you cannot look at a Vermeer and say, he's not a genius. Or even a Van Gogh. He's not famous for painting history paintings or nudes, which were considered to be the highest form of art back then. You would not say that these men are not geniuses and that they don't deserve to be counted as some of the most high, important, and successful painters. Okay, so now this essay was written in 1971, which at this point is over 53 years ago, and since then, society has undergone a profound shift in almost every way. Women are no longer shackled, as the feminists might say, to marriage or children. They can do what they want, and many women have taken up this new so-called liberation. So much so that now it's estimated that 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. On top of being at liberty to do whatever they want, women are in fact given preferential treatment over men, especially white men, not just at a societal, cultural level, but at an institutional level as well. So our world is very, very different, perhaps.
I find it curious that more and more people are coming to realize that at this year, but why it took so long? We've seen that for quite many years already. Why it took so long to people talk about this? How female have more rights than male nowadays? Like, that's it. I don't understand why it took so long to talk about that. And I mean, maybe it wasn't like that for you guys up until now, because maybe it took way more time to escalate things there, because in my country it has been like that for quite some time already, like for quite a lot of time. It's kind of undeniable here. But even so, my government keep approving new laws to make things even worse to men, and somehow even women not noticing worse to themselves as well. Like for example, we had a law here that's not approved yet. But this law will make, for example, if a couple they divorce and the woman wants child support of the man, of their ex-husband, and the ex-husband refuse to pay the child support, or he can't afford for the child support because he's unemployed. Something that is very common here, just cannot pay because they don't have money at all. Now, if this law is approved and it looks that it's near it, like if he has a brother or sister, and that's why women don't understand here, that this will be worse to them as well, because, like for example, if that ex-husband, he has a sister, for example, that is a woman, and he cannot pay the child support for his kid, his sister will have to pay the child support in his place, you know. And then if none of the siblings can pay that, then the grandparents of the newborn has to pay, like the mother and father of this ex-husband and his sister or whatever, and that goes on and on and on. I don't know if that affects cousins, for example, as well, but it's a very complicated law, very complicated. And knowing that this is nearly getting approved even more, because most of the voters here in my country, I think I said before, I think in all countries it's like that, or women. So they want to gain votes of women. So they because they are near elections and they don't want to lose votes, they approve this absurd, ridiculous laws, to get women's votes, and it works because people here are IQ under a temperature level, yeah. They cannot figure it out that how this will screw themselves up as well. Like, They don't realize, oh, this is good, because then if I divorce my husband, and someone will pay child support for me. It doesn't matter if it doesn't have the money, because his sister, his brother. But she forgets that she also have a brother, a sister, or whatever, and they will have to pay as well. She will have to pay as well if any of them, have the same situation. So yeah.
Then 1971, when Nochlin was writing her essay, and we can practically look around and see how her hypothesis is working out. The conditions to foster great female artists are here. And not only that, but it's been at least 2 generations for these changes to seep in. It's been 2 generations.
My brother has he's not married, but it's almost like that. Like, he's with his girlfriend for like some years, and I don't know.
Since Nochlin wrote her essay. But what creative artistic genius have women exhibited? The only thing that's really happened by the feminization of the arts and aesthetics is the natural process of beauty generation and creation has been suspended, leading to a constriction of the overall creativity of both men and women, and therefore an uglification of the world. Where women were once the muse, they're now the anti-muse. It was once love that created beauty, but that love between men and women is really being drained. And I'm starting to actually think that men back in the 1700s, for example, when Edmund Burke were writing, not only were not oppressing women, but that they genuinely loved them. Like, when you read Burke on beauty, he speaks so highly of women that they are the highest bearers of beauty and perfection. And to behold a woman is to feel love, not in a lustful or possessive way, but in a way of just pure admiration. So in conclusion, I think that we need to get back to the natural roles of women and men.
It's too late. It's never gonna happen if it's forced by the ones who started it, that is governments and corpos. Even if they force everything down again, this entrained inside the female human brain in some way, in some like a sickness, like a plague, that no matter if the words in what is related to laws and etc., it becomes like zero. It resets everything and comes back to normal. They will never forget it. They will never be the same as they were supposed to be, like before, The ones who were oh my god. There was that have been contaminated by the woke mind virus. They are lost, like, and by that I say feminists and etc. They already lost. There is no coming back. There is no comeback at all. And sadly, it's not the smallest amount of women that are in death. It's the huge majority of women that have been contaminated with that, for that virus. And oh my god, I stopped in a very, very terrible frame. Jesus Christ.
Men in every way, including in the dynamic of art and beauty, and that men have to rediscover their natural aesthetic sense and not think that it's something feminine, but realize that it's actually an incredibly important and disowned aspect of masculinity. I think that only in this way will the proper force and upward energy be created that is necessary in bringing beauty back, not just on an individual level, but on a societal level. So I would love to know your thoughts on this. I know that this is a very controversial topic. I know that. But I would love to know, do you think that there's something to men being superior artists throughout history, or do you agree more with Linda Nochlin and that the societal barriers and things like that have contributed to less women artists? So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will please subscribe so that you don't miss out on any further videos from...
Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, for the incredible support to my work. and especially my three-tailed fox tier members, Heath Rowell, Fenny Sylvy, Zalost, Wolf, and Richard Robb for the incredible support to my work. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to all of you who supported me through Ko-Fi or Tron. Thank you very, very much. You can support this channel life and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon, link is in the description below. I think I don't even need to mention that I agree with everything that she said here on this video. Like, not only she's more knowledgeable than me in what's related to art and whatever it is, because she clearly studied a lot, but even I not knowing all of those people, like, much more than their names, I still agree with everything that she said, because it's just simple as that. Like, the leftish, you know, or what I like to call the wrong side, they are just anti everything that is good and common, and they are just destroying the world. Everything they touch just rot, you know. And they did that with women. They are doing that, dividing, you know, people by colors, and divide people by race, dividing genders, dividing everything they can, and rotting them away, making them dumber, making them stupider, making them, you know. I think we all know what I'm going to say. I think we have been listening to the same thing like for many years, so I don't need to repeat myself every time. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of different, but I found this very interesting, and I thought I'd bring that to you guys. I probably not have many views because people don't like much this stuff, but I found this interesting, so I brought it anyway. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, support me so I can get the fuck out of this terrible communist country before I have to pay child support to my brother's newborn kid. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I hope I'm joking. Yeah. Bye bye.